Hi, everyone. Today we're going to talk about Aries, and it's Aries season right now. So I will tell you everything Aries. If you're an Aries or you know someone that's an Aries, just remember that Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. And when we talk about I am an Aries, we're talking about the sun. And we'll go more into that later. If you don't already know me, I am Ev Zervoudakis, founder of Holistic Healing Astrology. I'm here to share with you some insights about Aries. And astrology is a wonderful tool that helps people understand themselves and to maneuver life in the most positive way. So, without further ado, let's look at Aries. Aries is the first sign of the zodiac wheel. It starts the astrological new year, and Aries is a fire sign. So, it is enthusiastic. It also likes to start things. Just think of the match where you strike a match and it sparks a flame. That's Aries. So remember that each sign, each house, each planet has a low vibration and a high vibration. Planets are magnetic and they do affect us in an energetic way because of their magnetism, and they have gravity. So there is a pull and a push with these planets and how they work together in the sky. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments below and we'll get back to you. And maybe it will spark another video for your better understanding. So Aries sign, all the signs are made up of two building blocks, and it's a modality and a element. So there are four elements and there are three modalities. So the cardinal sign of Aries is the first, and it's the starter, it's the initiator, it's the boss. So Aries could be very bossy. They could be a little pushy. They could be self-starters, very proud, courageous. Aries now is a fire sign. So the fire means enthusiasm, warmth. You know, they bring life to the party. So think of that spark of the match. Now, the ruler of Aries is Mars. So remember, the ruler planet, ruling planet, and the sign work together. They have similar energies. Okay. So Mars is the planet of aggression, the planet of action, the planet where I have to do something, the planet of war. It's also any sharp objects, scissors, scalpel. It's also representing surgeons and warriors and athletes, very action driven. And Aries is the sign where it's the first sign. So they start the whole process, the whole astrological wheel. Aries is also represented in the natural wheel of the first house. So the first house is an Aries house, which means it's about self. So Aries could be headstrong and they could be very self-centered. I'm going to take a look at some of my notes for you to understand better. So the planet Mars, we have to look at that planet as well because it's got its own cycle. So remember, in astrology, we're studying the cycles of all the planets and the points. So the cycles represent what season we're in, especially the sun. But you have to remember that all the different planets move at their own pace. Usually the personal planets will kind of line up, and that's why we call them personal planets, but they'll share the season sign. So with this uh, eclipse the other day, a lot of planets were in Aries, the moon, the sun, and Chiron. So some of these planets that travel together, they share the same energy of Aries. So it's important to understand that it's cycles. So remember that there are other things going on in the astrological chart besides your sun sign. As a reputable teacher and astrologer, I have to tell you, you can't just look at your sun sign and you can't just look at your big three. You really have to look at the whole chart, because if there's a softening effect or a water sign that's strong in an Aries sun person, we have to weigh the difference and see if it's strengthening or weakening the Aries energy. That's a side note, but it's very important to understand that there are a lot of dynamics. There are over 4,000 bits and pieces of information in an astrology chart. But for teaching purposes, we're going to focus on Aries, fire, cardinal, and the first house and the ruling planet, Mars. Okay. So remember that Mars travels a cycle of 685 days, and all planets, not the sun or the moon, go retrograde and direct. So right now, as I speak, we're having a Mercury retrograde. And we'll talk about retrogrades in another session. However, feel free to check the other videos about retrogrades. I made quite a few videos describing in different ways about retrograde. So back to Aries. And because Aries is a fire sign, it gets along with other air signs very well. So remember, if you have candles in the house, when you light a candle, it needs air. So if you put the lid on the candle and it doesn't have any air, that will be the end of the fire. You see? So there are planets and energies that complement or weaken each other. So remember that Aries is compatible with Gemini and Aquarius and Libra, but not as much Libra because they're both cardinal signs. So Aries and Libra are cardinal signs. So they are at the same, axis. But one is about me and one is about you or us. So, but one is air, the Libra is air, which is great for fire. But because they're both cardinal and they both want to be bossy or start something, there might not be anybody around to finish it. So we're talking about complementary. This other point that we're going to talk about is some of the keywords and traits of Aries. So when we think about Aries, we think about I am, the self. And the first house is about yourself, your appearance. So it's also what Aries wants. Aries wants, and they're assertive, they're independent, they love to begin things. They're not afraid, they have courage. They desire. So it's it's people with confidence, and they're the warriors of the zodiac. They don't like delays. They like to keep moving. They're very active people, very physical. They love sports. So their gem is the diamond, and it's a masculine sign, and it rules the head. Therefore, they're headstrong, right? And they are decisive. They could make very quick decisions, and they're not afraid to take action, which is a very good thing for an entrepreneur or someone that has their own business or someone that's in a leadership, because you can't be hemming and hawing. Although the opposite end of the spectrum, you have Libra, which does not make a decision very easily, not like an Aries. And in that respect, they complement one another. But because they're both cardinal, it's not the best fit. It also rules sex. Mars is the ruler of sex as well. And they inspire, they're intellectual. They could be narcissistic. They could be overbearing. They are great travelers, and they could be rash, and they're known for their spontaneity and their speed. So, um, so astrology is meant to be a tool. It's not supposed to be a weapon. So you don't take negative traits of Aries and pigeonhole all Aries as, headstrong, uh, domineering type people. You have to take the person as an individual and use astrology as a tool, not as a weapon. So, again, I thank you for joining us, and be sure to put a thumbs up if you did like this video, share it with other like-minded people. And if you want to know when we put out our videos, use the notification bell. We try to do one video or two a month, sometimes more. This month has been very active. Until we meet again, take care, love. Bye-bye.